Have you ever woken up with a plan to be super productive, but then ended up spending the day lost in thoughts or distractions? It happens to the best of us. Today, let's explore something interesting. What makes robots seemingly more efficient than humans? And what can we learn from them to stay motivated? Robots are fascinating because they execute commands without hesitation. You tell them what to do, and they do it. No questions asked, no complaints. It's a command-action result chain that's incredibly efficient. But humans? We're a bit more complicated. Unlike robots, our actions are driven by a loop: action, reward, and motivation. We take an action, receive a reward, and that reward fuels our motivation to take more action. But this loop can be disrupted by various internal and external factors. Take today, for example. I had every intention of working on a new video, but here I am, contemplating life instead. I know what needs to be done. The tasks are clear. Finish this video, edit the script, and upload it. Yet, there's this internal resistance. Why is that? It seems counterproductive, doesn't it? To understand motivation, we need to dive deep into the human psyche. Many of us wait for motivation to strike before we start working. I'll start after this episode. I'll work once I feel more inspired. But in reality, it's the action that generates motivation. Psychologists describe motivation as the desire to initiate and maintain specific behaviors. So, if you're lacking that initial spark, how do you get started? Let's look at a study from 1998 involving elementary school students. They were given challenging puzzles to solve. Afterward, they were all praised, but for different reasons. One group was told they were smart and talented, while the other group was told they were hardworking. When given the choice to solve more puzzles, the smart group chose easier ones, while the hardworking group opted for the more challenging puzzles. This brings us to the concept of locus of control, which is essentially about whether you believe you have control over the events in your life. The smart kids developed an external locus of control, thinking their intelligence was innate and not something they could control. The hardworking kids, on the other hand, had an internal locus of control, believing their success came from their efforts. To stay motivated, it's crucial to adopt an internal locus of control. See your rewards as products of your effort. This mindset helps sustain the action-reward motivation loop. When you recognize that your actions directly influence your outcomes, it becomes easier to take that first step, even when you're not feeling particularly motivated. Now imagine a door-to-door salesperson facing constant rejection. If they attribute this to external factors like the weather or people's moods, they'll feel demotivated. But if they focus on what they can control, their pitch, their persistence, they'll find the strength to keep going. By focusing on their own actions and improvements, they maintain motivation despite setbacks. Motivation is also tied to how we view our efforts and rewards. Dopamine, the brain's reward molecule, plays a key role here. It spikes when we achieve something, making us feel good and encouraging us to repeat the action. However, if we rely too much on external rewards, we risk losing intrinsic motivation, the joy of doing something for its own sake. For example, if you love painting but start doing it for money, the intrinsic joy might diminish. This phenomenon is known as the over-justification effect. Balancing intrinsic and extrinsic motivations is crucial. It's important to find a balance where the external rewards don't overshadow the internal satisfaction. So, how can we apply this knowledge? First, recognize that motivation often follows action. Start small and let the rewards fuel your drive. Second, cultivate an internal locus of control. Believe in your ability to influence outcomes through your efforts. Finally, balance your motivations. Find joy in the process, not just the end result. In conclusion, while we might envy the efficiency of robots, our complex motivational loops are what make us human. Embrace the journey, celebrate your efforts, and stay curious. Who knows, maybe one day, our understanding of motivation will even inspire the next generation of intelligent machines.